I think we could agree that a lot of human suffering comes from the feeling of life not having a meaning. And when you think about it, a lot of philosophies, believing in philosophies and joining religions, they give life a sense of meaning. When we talk about this, we don't use the ordinary sense of the word of meaning. Meaning, what does it mean? Well, meaning, you see, when we ask what's the meaning of the plus sign, the addition sign, well, it points to something else beyond itself. That's what meaning is. When we ask, what does a tree mean? What does it mean? Well, that's hard to answer because it doesn't point anything. It doesn't point to anything beyond itself. It's just a tree. Well, what does a cloud mean? It doesn't mean anything. But we're not using that kind of sense of meaning. So you see, we have this feeling now, don't we, that life is significant. That it's not just something trivial. And but you see, it doesn't really have a meaning. We can compare life and all these things to a play, almost like a kind of game, you see. Because you see, games don't have a purpose. I mean, yeah, they do, but playing doesn't have a purpose. I mean, why do you play? Why do you dance? Why do you play music? There is no reason. You don't dance, to arrive somewhere. You just dance just for the fun of it. And this is also this kind of idea of the world manifesting itself as play appears also in Hindu philosophy, where every being is the manifestation of whatever that there is. They call it the Brahman, and it's all playing everything. So there is this view of the world, life, as a game, as not having a meaning. Just in the same way as music doesn't have a meaning, but that doesn't mean that it's trivial, that it's just music, that it's just a game. There are significant music. When we listen to some kind of great composition, we don't think that this is just trivial, it doesn't really mean anything, or that's not important, but it's significant. And it's just the same with life. You see, but now you see what's important when you're playing a game, you probably know this, is to not take it too seriously. I mean, the guy that, you're playing cards or whatever, and he just takes it too seriously. When he loses something, he gets really mad, start punching the table. I mean, not punching, but how do you say that? Anyway, punching the table, let's say it like that. And no one likes that kind of guy. So a game is not something to be taken too seriously. Doesn't mean it doesn't have to be taken sincerely. That you don't, kind of lose yourself in the game and play it wholeheartedly. But you see, if you take it too seriously, it's boring. It's not worth it anymore. I mean, just in the same way, when talking about life, you see, life is something spontaneous. It happens by itself. It kind of just pops out by itself. But when you kind of force, when you tell someone that you must go on living, survival is what we must do, then it stops becoming. It starts becoming a bore. It's not worth it anymore. It's like saying to someone, you must love me. It doesn't work like that. And you just can't tell a child that you must play now. I mean, you probably remember that now, don't you? Where maybe, some family members came around and maybe a child hates this, and you see the family members come around and he's put in the middle of the room and says, okay, now Timmy, go and play. Play in front of everyone or sing in front of everyone. It doesn't work like that. It just puts everything off. It's just the same with life. If you take it too seriously, if you think that, I must go on living, I must do all these things to improve my life, how long I live. But why do that? Why go on living? there's not really a good reason. I mean, it's not necessary. There is good reasons to go on living, but it's not a must. The clouds doesn't think to themselves, I must go on living. I must go on to the next town and get the rain down. Oh. But you see, how I see it is that, taking it seriously, it is part of the game. Getting lost in the game is a part of it. I mean, think about it. When you go to the theater, even though in the back of your mind, you kind of know that all of it is, fake. It's not real. It's just actors. But yet, you can cry when there's a sad scene. You get angry when there's something kind of that happens. You laugh when there's something funny, even though you know that it's all made up. It's all just a play. It's playing. But you see, getting lost in it, thinking that the actor just died for real, is part of the game. So you see, taking it too seriously just takes the zest out of life. But you see, everything is already like a game. You can look at everything as a game. The game of the trees and the clouds, and the game of the humans, and everything that we're doing. Not accepting life. Feeling that life has no meaning, and being said of that everything can be looked upon as a game, and that is one way of playing the game. But you can play it however you want to. You see, very interesting ideas. And you see, one of the things that helps in realizing that the meaning of life is really non-meaning, that it doesn't really have a meaning, is change. That everything is changing, that everything is falling apart, including yourself. So this makes you realize that after all, you will have to face this meaninglessness of everything. Or that there is, it's like it helps, to let go, because you realize that there is nothing to hold on to. Everything is falling apart, including you. The you that started watching this video isn't the you that is watching now. You change. You're never the same. And it's just the same with everything. It's all changing. So there's nothing to hold on to. You can't hold on to yourself or to others. Everyone will die. But this allows you to let go. And now you see, you might have noticed that when I talk about this life not having a meaning, I don't mean it in a depressing way. There is, now isn't there, a kind of liberty, freedom in this. Kind of liberation that it doesn't have a meaning. I mean, think about it. Why are there in almost all of the old songs, this kind of, how do you say it? I don't know. These nonsensical verses. These kind of things in music. Why do people love to do this? Or when listening to jazz, to just go with it, to flow with it. Why do people like that? You see, it's like paying tribute to the big nonsense of it all. Just having a ball. So yeah, it's an interesting question. Yeah, that's about it. Back again, let the sun rise. Can you see it? Not really. It's really beautiful. You see, life is still significant. It's not just some random chaos. It's significant. It has pattern. It's complex. It's very complicated and beautiful. But when we ask what's the meaning of it, when we try to grasp it and pin it down, it always runs away from us. You can't put it into words. You can't put life into words. Because that's linear. Word after word after word. But life runs on infinitely many lines. Whereas explaining runs on one line of words. I mean, that's how computers work. They just scan a bunch of ones and zeros. But when you look out on a scene, you don't scan it now, do you? You don't go at it, scan all of it. You see it all at once. It just appears. And all of life is happening all at once. All of your body. You don't think about pumping your heart and breathing every time and moving your blood all everywhere. It all happens by itself. Isn't that interesting? So yeah, that's about it. Goodbye.